All right, pledge to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I know what it is now.
All right. Has everybody had a chance to review the minutes from last month? Is there any questions, corrections on them? If not, I will take a motion for the secretary to file them.
I will make that motion.
Motion by Greg, second by Deb.
Just for discussion purposes, the agenda shows the September 4th.
October.
Meeting
Yeah.
instead of last month's.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Motion by Greg, second by Deb. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Open up to public comment. Okay, engineers report.
We talked last month about application number 4, application for payment number 4, which is the final to Restucio Construction. This is for the curb and sidewalk project. The remaining amount of $22,482.20 was the retainage. We did the walkthrough inspection with the contractor and the York County Planning Commission. Everything looked good. Also on that same day, Hanover Borough did the televising for us of the underground stormwater sewer system underneath that curb and sidewalk, or underneath that sidewalk. That all looked good, so it looks like we're ready to approve the final application.
And they made the correction to the grade that was wrong on the ADA.
Correct, there
right?
at Mason
At
Avenue,
Mason.
yes.
Okay. Questions?
Did that contract have a maintenance bond for 18 months after the project's done?
It does, yes.
Okay, good.
Yep.
All right, thanks.
Questions, comments? Motion okay to release the final payment?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Mark,
I'll second it.
second by Greg Bonus. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. South Street.
Should get final approval from the engineer for next month, but at this point in time, it looks like we'll be about $8,800 under contract amount. Contract was $118,050. The paid to date was $109,258.07, and he's unaware of any additional payments. So, but we'll be able to close that out next month.
You don't need anything?
No,
Anything else from the engineer?
no.
Solicitor's report.
Nothing new on the mediation. I think you do have
Yeah.
a state police report?
For the time period of July 1st through September 30th of this year, for the crash report, 3 crashes in the borough. One was a failure to abide by traffic control devices. One was a hit and run. 2 of them were non-reportable. 2 citations were issued, obedience to traffic control devices and operating a vehicle without valid inspection. 8 warnings. 1 was in July, 7 were in August. The only one that they gave any information on, there was a speeding that they did. For the crime report, 4 investigations, 3 criminal arrests. 2 of the investigations were for crimes against a person. They were both assaults. 1 was crime against property, criminal mischief in July, and 1 was a crime against society, which was a nuisance of public drunkenness.
That's it, unless anybody has questions
Does
for
anybody
us.
have anything for the solicitor right now? All right. Zoning and codes?
Everyone has a copy of the report. Does anyone have any questions? If not, the next item under that is, we have our zoning hearing tomorrow night for 3537 Church Street, for the third dwelling. I have on there, legal representation. I'm asking the council, for authorization for Solicitor Crayley to attend that hearing, to assist me and also represent the borough.
Now, I have a question on that. If you're going to make that approval, does the borough want to take a position one way or another on the merits of the application? I don't believe the variance is justified from a legal point of view, but council, I need some direction from council. I'm not going to go there and say yes or no without council's approval and wanting to take a position on it.
Okay, walk us through, because is anybody called up to speed on what's going on there? Is everybody, not anybody, is everybody called up to speed?
Because he wants to do that little house, right?
You want,
Is that what
Yeah,
he
there's
wants?
currently on the property, there's a double house, and then there's an accessory building that I understand decades ago someone did live in, but since that time has been used as an accessory building, garage, storage, and so forth. The current owner's owned it for about 20 years. He now wants to turn that into a residential dwelling. Under the zoning ordinance, you're only allowed to have either a single family or a duplex. So he has been operating a duplex. So he meets the one principal use, but he's looking to have two principal uses, which would be a duplex and a single family. So it does not meet the current ordinance regulations.
My recollection also, going back to the early days of me being borough solicitor, and Cheryl can back me up if you remember, that the reason that the little house was not continued as a dwelling was that the individual who owned it only wanted 2 sewer EDUs, did not want 3. And therefore, the person voluntarily gave up the nonconformity of having the extra dwelling there. And now, to me, again, there is absolutely no legal justification at this point for allowing a third dwelling unit on that property. Again, that's pure law.
thoughts, thoughts from council? Questions?
Should have a motion to authorize that then, if that's your desire, to have the solicitor attend.
It does not meet the current record.
Does not meet the current zoning ordinance, no.
Okay.
No.
So we need a motion to authorize Curley to be there.
Yes.
I will make that motion.
Motion by Gary for Crayley to attend the meeting tomorrow night. Second from Deb. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Now, the next item, does council have a position for or against the variance, based on what we've been told here and what we heard at the planning commission meeting?
My understanding, variance, I mean, has to show hardship, and in this case, it would not show a hardship. Correct. That would be my assumption and view of it from my standpoint. And I think that's the only thing with the zoning ordinance, you know, all variances have to be, show a hardship, for a variance to be issued, is my understanding.
Well, there's 5 factors, one of which has to be that the property can't be reasonably used as it is. Right now, you've already got 2 dwellings on it. It's not self-created. In my view, it was self-created by the prior property owner because they voluntarily discontinued it. Those are 2 of the 5 that aren't met. I mean, to me, it's glaring, but
It's up to you all.
it's, again, it's council's decision. I would go there to represent the body as you wish me to.
Now, Mike, can I ask you a question? Now, I know when they had the other meeting, I went through and did an outline, okay, of who owned the property, when his son moved in there in that little house. I have all that if you would like to have it. That's I think I gave Todd.
Yeah, I have a
too.
copy of
Well,
that as
if
well.
Todd has a copy, that's fine.
And I just, you know, my personal opinion is I hope they don't let him do that little house.
Well, like I said, council can make a motion 3 ways. You can make a motion to approve or support what they're doing, take no position, which then I don't know really why I'm going, or oppose it on the grounds that the variance standards aren't met.
Okay.
It's up to council, but you gotta make a motion one way or another out of those 3 options.
I make a motion to have Mike attend and,
Oppose?
yeah, and oppose it for the zoning rules.
I'll second it.
Motion by Greg, second by Bill. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? good for zoning codes.
Yep.
Albert?
I don't have really nothing. We had a brush fire on South Road on Sunday. It was quite a big fire. We stopped it for hitting houses or any campers or anything. Had a couple campers out there.
Thank you again to keep supporting the mulch fire in Spring Grove, Jackson Township.
That was a long day.
I understand you guys, again, you guys go unspoken. There's not enough thanks to give you gentlemen and ladies that, are on the front lines or behind the scenes. As well, I want to congratulate you and the purchase of your tanker and,
Thank you.
please share, when are you looking to put that in service?
Tanker is in the station. We're doing stuff to it now. We're waiting on our license plate.
Okay,
We can't put it in service till the license plate shows up. When that shows up, then county's got somebody goes around and inspects it. Let me see straight, needs to clear criteria. And, he supposed to show up sometime to look at it and say, okay, it's good. Cause it exceeds the criteria they want.
where did you guys purchase that from,
Winfield,
which is Maryland, correct?
it's Carroll County.
Careful. Well, again, congratulations on that and the capital investment and the ongoing support of the community, of the borough plus the surrounding community.
Anything else on fire? All right, Parks and Rec.
There was no branch meeting since the last time that I reported. That next meeting is scheduled for next Tuesday, the 11th. As far as the playground, the committee has not met since my last report. Kay King is still collaborating with Ann Yost from YSM, an architect and engineer firm that's developing the site plans that's going to be required for the upcoming grant applications. The committee's timeline remains focused on applying the grants, initiating the fundraising efforts, 2026. Construction is anticipated to begin 2027. Once sufficient funds have been secured, should the funds become available sooner, construction could commence earlier. And again, the next meeting is, for the branch, is the 11th, and as soon as Kate gets more information, she's going to pull a committee meeting together for the playground.
Anything else, Parks and Rec? Questions? All right, unfinished business. The 2026 budget.
Yeah, everyone has a copy of the proposed budget that came out of the Budget Committee meeting, which was held on October 26th. You have in there the 4 different funds: the general fund, we have the building fund, we have the playground fund, and the highway aid fund. As far as anything, nothing really significant for 26. No tax increases, the tax rate will remain the same. Probably the biggest thing is going to be the reduction in engineering costs because we don't have the street projects or the curb and sidewalk projects. So other than that, there's nothing real exciting about it for 26. So what I'll need though is from council is authorization for me to advertise it for public inspection during the month of November, and then for council to consider adoption of it at the December meeting.
As well as approval of the tax resolution for December.
Correct.
You don't need anything on the tax right now, though, because we do them separate. One's for the budget and one's for the tax resolution, correct?
There'll be 2 different resolutions,
Correct.
yes.
But for right now, you need
I just
to
need-
advertise.
You need to advertise the proposed
Okay.
budget, and
Yep.
I need authorization to prepare the tax resolution for the December meeting.
Questions on the budget? Comments on the budget?
I suggest one of the things we heard about with the fire company.
Yeah?
Yeah, we're gonna increase the the fire company contribution, we did some checking into the surrounding areas of budgets, and we way underfund the fire company compared to our surrounding boroughs. So we're gonna increase that to twice what you're getting this year, so.
Okay, thank you, guys.
Yeah,
That'll help.
especially with your new tanker coming.
New tanker and a lot of call stuff. It's expensive to run one of them pieces of truck after the door.
I make a motion to move forward with advertising of next year's budget.
Motion by Bill to advertise the budget,
Second.
second by Deb. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, and then take a motion for him to work on the resolution for the tax.
I'll make that motion for Mike to work on the resolution for the taxes.
Motion by Greg,
I'll second.
second by Mark. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Next item, or
Yep.
you gonna
No, go
tackle
ahead.
that?
No, go ahead.
Okay, next item, the ordinance committee met on October 23rd. We had a lot of public comment, council did a bit of discussion, and the recommendation that came out of that committee meeting is that council at this time not pursue a tenant registration or rental property inspection registration program. So council can either discuss it if you want more, or if everybody's satisfied with that recommendation, we just move on.
Anybody have any questions on the meeting, those that weren't there, or comments on?
I have a question on how we
committee.
know who's actually living here. One for our earned income tax, we're not getting, we should, we had a while back, obviously there's people out there in the front. They won't be, taxes won't be paid towards the borough because they weren't listed on there as being living in the borough. So
They're being paid somewhere, though.
Right, somewhere else.
Yeah,
Somewhere
the
else.
money's going somewhere else is the problem with the not having the registration.
It
Yeah.
seems to me that we used to get, when, I remember I would get messages from, was it whoever, the rental company that was Susquehanna, and they would always send me a copy of the list, the names of the tenants.
Southern rental or Southern
Southern
management?
Management.
Yeah.
And they would always send me, it wasn't an ordinance, they just knew that we needed to know who lived in here. Even when you think back to when we had per capita taxes, we had to have some way of knowing who was living in the borough. I mean, I know that a lot of people are against having the inspection program, but I'm not sure why we don't have any mechanism to know who's living in the borough.
Especially in light of as many rentals are in the borough now compared to past.
Like,
Yeah, I definitely think we ought to have some sort of tenant registration at least. Just, just for that, knowing who's here.
Especially since when you think of Seven Valleys Borough, people think they live in Seven Valleys Borough when they live elsewhere because they have a Seven Valleys mailing address. And it would be very helpful to know who actually lives in the borough limits. My thought.
I do know when we went through that, I don't know, was it a year ago already? The earned income tax rolls and compared them against what at least we had personal knowledge of. I know of several apartments that this day, we don't know who lives there, so we don't know if they're paying earned income tax to the borough or not.
Want me to draft one for next month for you to look at? And to take it off of what Redline does.
Comments from anybody else on council on it?
I think we need to have something so we know just for that purpose that we're getting our income that we should be getting, people that are living here.
I'm comfortable with the committee meeting as far as the rental licensing and inspection. I would like to move that we table the tenant registration until January.
Comments, thoughts?
Well, to me, being on that committee, yes, I agree with that. To not do anything as far as the maintenance and the inspection, but I was sort of 50-50 on the occupancy thing. For the purposes that you described, I let everybody kind of talk till I said something, and also as a, for Todd's sake, to do something internally, paperwork, to know who is in.
Well, kind of how that meeting went, it was more around the inspection. We
Yeah.
spent way more time on the inspection, and,
Yeah, there was-
and I think most of the general public or the people that were in attendance were here because of that subject, not even, so, we want to put that on unfinished business for the January meeting and give everybody some time to wrap their heads around it
Maybe do some research.
and research
I think.
and,
I think my biggest thing too is not just for in-Durham Crown, I believe for emergency purposes as well, it'd be nice to know, you know, just in case, you know, who's living where the situation would arise, where something would seriously happen, you know, whether it be a house fire, whether it be missing people, whether it be anything, any kind of criminal act, I think, would be helpful for everybody involved to kind of know who lives where, not, and leave it at that. It's not, you know, I think the safety aspect too would be a big plus for everybody, you know. We already know property owners are already listed, you know, whether they're the actual property owners or live at the property, they're already a public record. You know, I don't see where, you know, knowing who lives in a property, whether they own it or not, you know, and that's only a name, you know, and maybe no names of under 18, other than maybe a number of people that are under 18. We don't need to know the necessary names or anything or any characteristics, you know, and again, that would not be public record. That would be for the borough's use only. And I mean, I'm pretty sure everybody else in the surrounding municipalities that have it already in place, it's kind of how it all works too.
So correct me if I'm wrong, Todd, January, we reorganize.
Correct.
So we may have a different members on the committee, so have them take a crack at it then.
everybody good with that? Okay. Okay, vacancies.
Zoning Hearing Board, we still have one vacancy. Planning Commission, we currently have two. There's going to be a third one coming up with John Neal's resignation. As soon as he sells his house, he'll be moving. I do have one individual that spoke to me a little bit. I'm going to follow up with him in a week or so. So if he's interested, I will bring that name to council in December.
Any other unfinished business?
No.
All right, new business? So the refuge and recycling contract award, everybody has it in front of them, or at least seen it.
The bid tab.
Questions, comments, ideas from anybody on council?
I like the 3-year contract that, not contracted, the bid that Penway's put in. That makes the most sense.
Anything I want to share with Penn Waste is that they are having extreme customer service problems throughout York County. And I'm talking serious problems, so just be aware of that.
I have a question. Is this, because this talking about 96-gallon carts, are we going to have the kind that grab it and put it on?
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
But they'll probably be rear lift, because they're not gonna be able to, where there's cars parked, they're still gonna have to pull them out. So they won't necessarily be the long arm.
Okay, so there'll
Yeah.
still be a person
Correct.
doing something.
Yeah. They just won't have to physically do the lifting.
So,
There's-
yeah, go ahead.
No,
I'm
he's a
Jonas
bidder.
Kreitzer with Casella Waste, and just had a question on the bids, because I don't know that it was spelled out. Has the borough determined the percentage of customers who would want the 32-gallon versus the 96-gallon? Because depending on where that percentage falls, Casella Waste could be the low bidder.
How would we go about getting that?
Typically, that decision is not made until the bid's awarded, and then the contractor contacts the potential customers to say what they want. From a legal point of view, you have an obligation to go with the lowest responsible bidder. Normally, that starts a presumption with price. You have two different things to look at. You have Penn Waste that made no bid for 1 year. The other two bidders are individuals who I'm not familiar with. It doesn't say right or wrong, but if you would go with a 1-year contract for either of those two, that would be kind of like a learning period where you could see if you have the same problems over a year or if somebody else is different. The disadvantage, of course, of doing a 1-year contract means that this time next year, you'll be doing the same thing. There'd be a little bit more administrative expenses, but depending on the performance of either of the two new ones, you could get you could get a better service, you could get some better idea of what they're doing. Obviously, if you look at the long-term contract, the 3 to 5 year price-wise with Penn Waste, it's obviously in the best interest of the borough price-wise. And I can tell you this, Penn Waste, yeah, they have their problems, my other municipalities as well. Republic isn't doing any better. So they're the two that typically have most of the contracts. We have gotten new people. Red Line went with Anthracite. I'd never heard of them before. They were the low bidder in Red Line. So we're going to have an interesting time to see how it works there. So we're seeing changes in the trash collection. You're not stuck with Republic or Penn Waste anymore. You have other people interested. Another thing about going with for 1 year, in 1 year, there may be some other people locally interested in the trash market, just not sure yet. Again, I'm not advocating either way. I'm just saying legally, you can look at your options, and if you're going to go with a multi-year contract, we don't have a lot of documented problems with Penn Waste in this municipality, which is what you need to reject the lowest price bid. But, if you go with if the 1 year contract, you could pick you would then be picking goods, they're the lowest price. So you do have options. A lot of times we don't because of the few bidders we get. Here you've got some options to think about.
One thing, just a note to follow up on what Mike said as far as contractors that are out there. If you remember, 3 years ago, you had two contractors basically in York County, Republic and Penn Waste. For whatever reason, there's more and more coming into York County, which is a good thing, makes it more competitive. And this year, we sent bid specifications out to 7 haulers that are now in York County.
Questions?
Could you
Comments?
explain more what you meant exactly, please?
It just means if 75% of the people use the smaller one, the prices are gonna go down, but it's gonna be less because he's gonna be moving less.
So you don't have a choice, like if you accept that, you don't have a choice of which one?
Yes.
The customer will have the choice of either 96 or 32.
But what he's mentioning is if he knew upfront before he made a bid at 75%,
Okay,
they could have been cheaper, but as Mike said, typically that's not how the specifications are laid out. It'd be up to the contractor then to reach out to every customer and see what they prefer, is my understanding.
And we, as a town, have never had the bins, but now everybody went to the bins. We had bags or cans or whatever we wanted.
Is it a fair assessment? My understanding is from other bidders that when you go to municipalities, you're typically looking at 90% at the larger cart, 10% at the 32, on average.
10%, I would say for the 32 is correct, but usually there's also a split with 96, and then there's a middle size, which is 65.
Yeah, but we only bid the
We've seen that.
96 and
We only
30,
bid-
yeah.
But, we don't actually have a lot of 32s, we do offer the 65, so since it wasn't bid, we would include that 65 in the price of the 32. And again, our bid was the lowest on the 32, so the more of the residents move toward that, then the lower our bid gets relative to the other two.
The other thing I can mention is what Redline's doing is the contractor, like I said, it was Anthracite. They're taking the position, they're gonna contact, put mailers out or contact every customer. And 96 is gonna be the default unless the customer says, we want the 32. And oddly enough, there, the difference was only 30, yeah, I think around $30 a year.
So you'll have 2 containers, one recycle, one.
No, one trash, one recycle.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
Well, recycling's unlimited. So if you have a lot of beer cans at the end of the weekend and you want 5
Right
recycled
away.
containers, you can get them.
And what about large items?
That's still one
Said
a
one per
week.
week.
1 week.
That was included in the specification.
Yep.
The reason it's about that 10 and 90 is, if you look at the total overall cost, well, they might be lower.
If you have one a week,
32
don't you have
is
to
not
call them?
enough, I think, to make up the difference.
Especially
I
when
know I
I
had-
had, I know I had
Yeah.
a chair that I put out.
If it was the other one, maybe.
Picked it up.
Typically, we never had to call to schedule a large pickup, you just put it out.
Yeah, well, that's what I did, and then they didn't pick it up, so then I
Yeah,
had to call
that's
down
how
and
it's
waste
always,
it.
I'm not saying they just didn't pick it up, but I mean, typically, we never had to schedule it, but.
Yeah, 'cause I called him and then he said, where did you get it? I told him, and that's how they picked it up.
Yeah, motion, one
And
more
all these
vote.
bids are, there's one large item every week
Mhm.
and everything.
The last time we did, we only had penalties. We for 3 years.
Thoughts from council, motions from council?
I'll make a motion to go with Fenn Waste for the 3-year bid option number 2 for the 3-year contract.
I second.
Motion by Greg, second by Bill. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Who made the first motion?
Greg?
3-year penalties.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Tree trimming?
Yeah, everyone has a copy of proposal from James Family Tree Trimming. It's for $2,000, and it's to cut and remove all the material, starting on the creek side of the small shed, and trim around and everything back. They're going to take down quite a few trees as well, and then open up along the side of the building here, along the creek. Not only trim things up, but trim it back, and also cut quite a few of the trees down on the opposite side of the stream as well.
And they're removing everything.
They're removing everything, yes, yep. So just need council to approve that.
Questions?
And who's gonna do this?
James Family Tree Service, they're up, I think, Bear Station area. Yeah.
Did we get bids? Did we send something?
Not for,
We got a price.
We don't need that.
you don't need quotes or bids under 12,000,
12.9.
12,900.
Is there a reason that we're doing this?
They're grown against the
They're
building
grown
over
against the
here,
building over
and the
here.
whole side's
Not
milled.
to make more room for.
No.
No, they're growing against the building. Questions? Comments, motions? A motion?
I'll make a motion to move forward with James Tree Service, Family Tree Service, to get things taken care of on this property.
Motion by Bill, second by Mark. All in favor? Opposed? Okay. Snowplow.
All right. If you recall, every year we go out for snowplow bids. We're not required to because we're almost always under the 12.9. Usually we make requests, might get one or two. So this year I was contacted by Hirsch Concepts, who did it last year, and they put in a proposal to do it at the exact same cost for all the equipment, the road salt and everything. So I did not seek any other proposals because they were always well below everyone else to begin with. And it's no price increase for this year. So would ask council to approve that contract with Hirsch Concepts.
I'll make a motion.
Mark?
Motion by Mark,
Second.
second by Gary. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any other new business from anybody?
I do have some new business.
Yep.
Make sure new business has to be made by motion to add to the agenda.
We'll hit it, we'll hit it
Okay.
at the bottom. When we go around, we'll hit it at the bottom.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Treasurer's report.
Okay, I would, yeah, that's what I thought. It was more.
Anybody have any questions? Last month, was there anything not regular? That's what I saw.
No.
If not, I will take a motion for the treasurer to approve, accept, and file statement for audit, and for him to pay any other bills over the next, regular bills over the next month.
Make that motion.
Motion by Greg Kiner,
I'll second it.
second by Greg Bonus. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, anything else from the treasurer?
No.
Secretary?
No.
Mayor's report.
I wanna just recap Halloween a little bit. I would say with all the, I wouldn't say challenges, but everything else going on this past Friday night, with all the surrounding communities that moved their trick or treating from Thursday to Friday, plus the district, high school football game, I would say we had over 100 people stop in. You know, it was definitely, I would say steady pretty much kind of throughout the night. I want to thank Councilman Kiner, Councilman Landis for helping. And again, I think the wind kind of, I don't think it was bad as they were calling for, but I mean, overall, I was pleasantly surprised with everything else going on. Other than that, I have nothing else.
Anything from the mayor? Okay, liens,
No
same.
change.
I was curious though, were there people along the streets, in the houses actually have their porch light on for trick or treat?
There was,
Or
again.
not as many?
Yeah, I mean, again, I don't wanna say I feel like, from my understanding, what I was told, yeah, it's not as many as probably last year, but again, I think with everything going on with, I know a lot of people attended the football game on Friday night, but, I think it's also a statement to say that it was still, the borough is still safe enough where we can have those activities at night, and continue that tradition every Halloween.
I'm finding in New Salem, more people are just putting out a bucket
Oh,
with
well,
lights because they're
I'm so-
going with their children trick or treating.
I'm-
And so they're leaving something
Okay.
there. And the other thing the fire company had this year, I think is the first year, is on the same night, they had a trunk or treat. So that people could go up to the fire hall and decorate their car and the kids could go up and circle the parking lot. So they got more treats that way as well.
On the same
Which I thought
night.
was interesting.
Yeah,
The
that's
same
different
night.
because,
At first I
yeah.
thought, why are they doing that?
but that's
But I think it
interesting.
worked out well.
Yeah, that's an interesting, because usually you see them not on the same day as,
Right,
you know,
and
which
that way
shouldn't-
kids could, they
Yep.
could come to the Valley Tavern and then just walk to the
Yep.
fire hall, go around the circuit and go back home. It was interesting.
yeah. You got nothing else?
Okay. Sewer report.
Couple of things I looked at, I actually found it on my desk this month. Revenue for your users in Seven Valleys is doing great. You don't have a whole lot of delinquents compared to some of the other ones. Couple notes in the expenses, you can see that the Seven Valleys Pump Station is over budget on repairs. We know all about that from previous reports. Just a couple things, again, it could be, the next time we do a borough newsletter, I think we need to follow up with what was mentioned at the September report. People should be very careful in what they flush down the sewer. Certain things shouldn't go in it. Brandon, you mentioned that last month. We get the minutes a month late, so, particularly feminine hygiene products typically have a problem there. The one thing that I was very interested in is that Davidson's response to Brandon's question about the EDUs, saying that the pump station on Church Street was designed at 280 and they're averaging 528. That's just bizarre, given the fact that they're not able to track down infiltration and inflow and figure out why it's that high. That to me, there should be a little bit of follow-up. I'm wondering if the meter, I'm not saying it is or it isn't, but you gotta wonder when it's that much different, if there might be a problem with the meter.
It's like 15,000 gallons per household.
Either that or there's a lot of I somewhere around the creek. But they've mentioned that they're looking at doing things. So, probably gonna look at that complete replacement of that pump station.
27.
Yeah, so that was the only thing that I noted of interest in the report.
Okay. All right. Todd, anything?
No.
Mike?
No.
Sam?
Nope.
I
Doug?
wish everybody good luck tomorrow, no matter what. Remember that the borough is all one, we're all in it together. We all, look out and, we're trying to take care of the majority. Again, I think, change is not a bad thing, but change also has to be monitored and at times can be slow to make progress forward.
Gary?
You know, I have
Yep.
speed sign down Church Street.
That's the one that, the solar, do we ever get the solar?
The solar panel is back up, just went up last Friday,
Okay.
Thursday. Is it not
It's
operating?
not working when I came into town tonight.
Update on the street light out here at the bridge.
That's with engineering at Med Ed, so, but it is in the works.
There's a Mira. Does everybody ever recall the Mira on the corner at Lehman
Yes,
Town?
curves.
At the curb, that, I think they did some cutting down there along the road, and I believe it's now pointed at the road. And I had somebody tell me they're gonna go down and do that. I said, no, that's, at least have somebody direct traffic, and I think it's minor to adjust it, because I do know a couple.
I don't.
Was that borough installed?
I don't think,
so.
I don't think
there.
they're, I don't think they're allowed to be borough installed, are they? Yeah, I think that's the resident of that property that, burned down. I think it, originally that put that up, but as far as I know, yeah, they're not a legal street, device.
Like the ones they have around the bridges going to New Freedom on both sides of the bridge, was that?
That's not PennDOT or the municipality.
Yeah.
Really?
Mhm.
Interesting. One other thing, I hear some comments from some citizens about crosswalks. Maybe, I know we had talked about them a while back. I don't know who did the initial survey. I remember taking a walk with the Trail Towns people and kind of discussing places where there could be a crosswalk from maybe like Church Street at Main, or at the post office, or around the valley to come from
Can we put them
that
on
side
state
to the
roads?
fire
Get to
hall.
get a
Now
PennDOT
I can
permit.
say that, Joe. Let me send off a message, because maybe the Trail Towns might have some money for that.
Well, they did.
But let's see if we can, because it's been a long time since they, responded back.
3 years easy.
Well, but I'm just
That
saying,
we
just
did
in
our
general, yeah, that, but just in general with the Trail Towns as it is. I know after that creek survey and all that, it kinda We haven't really heard anything else from them as far as going
No.
forward with that, but I know there's gotta be some grant money that I believe they were trying to get to progress that further, but I mean, have you send a message and just kinda step back into that and see, cause, I mean, I think now that you bring that up, and see what we can do there.
Okay.
And see, and I'll report back.
That's all I have.
Please get with you and report back.
Mark? Greg? Deb? Bill?
No, nothing.
All right. Okay, public comment. Yeah, come on up. What's your name and?
Hello, Andrew. I'm Andrew Louts. I live on 102 South Street here in the borough. My main reason for being here is just to see how it operates. I run with the fire hall, so I'm over there doing news meetings as well and serving you fine folks. But we have, the paving was done on South Street 2.5 months ago, I believe in late August, maybe early September. And it was followed up with tar and chip, and not a fan of the tar and chip. I get that it prolongs the life of the road. The paving was perfect. I was super happy. Came back from vacation. There's probably 3 or 2.5 yards of chip on the end of the road by the gutter there. Last year, I think we had a buildup of just natural erosion that I took care of, but it's just too much for one guy and a shovel and a little lawnmower cart. So I was just hoping that something that could be done to just take a skid loader or a machine.
Yeah,
and
that was brought up last month, and it is on our list. We rely on another municipality.
Is this in front of your?
It's
Where
102 South meets Maple.
Where
It's
South
right
meets
there at that
Maple, okay.
gutter. It's just a little high there. That'd be awesome to get rid of that. So when we run into winter, it's not frozen and kind of have a curb there. So I ride motorcycle, and you can imagine it was not fun for the first 2 weeks. So yeah, just safety, and I'd like to see it cleaned up. That's all.
Perfect.
But yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay. Meeting adjourned. Thanks, everybody, for coming.